Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mystics Outlook. Joined by Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. The Mystics, they're ending the season with like a home and home with the Indiana Fever. First part was played tonight on the road in Indiana. Washington beat Indiana 82-70. Just initial thing that comes to mind is it's two games you should definitely win. So they took care. And I'm not trying to be mean, but like, if you are who you think you are, right? Coming off what just happened recently, you should win these games. I'm not into the style points or what have you, but you should win these games. They've taken care of part one. They see them again on Sunday, and then with between them and the Storm, they're playing each other in the playoffs. It's just a matter of who's going where, and this is how we're gonna figure this out. I can't think off the top of my head who the Storm have the last two games, but I believe it's a little bit more competitive than the Fever.
Yeah, they got Minnesota tonight. Then they finish off against the Aces.
Yeah, okay. So, and I don't see the Aces just like, oh, hey, you can have a win before we go into the playoffs, So again, but like the biggest thing tonight is they took care of business. But Ray, your thoughts on tonight, and then I'll chime in afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much what you said, man. They just took care of business as they should have. Everybody's professionals out here, but realistically, these are two games they should win. It was almost a wire to wire. I mean, they're playing a team at the bottom of the standings. It wasn't a overly dominant win, but it was it's just good to get one in the W column after what they've been going through recently. It was still some sore spots. They didn't shoot the three well. They turned it over a lot. But all in all, it looks like they were using this game just to kind of get back in some type of rhythm. Especially Elena, she was super aggressive. She's been in a little slump lately. So, it's good to see her, get back in rhythm a little bit offensively. But yeah, I was kind of concerned about what the bench production would be like with if Maisha being out. The bench came in, they played solid. Rui, she did what she does. She pushed the pace, was a pest defensively, found people for easy buckets, directed traffic. It was a solid win. They got them again on Sunday, like you said. These types of situations are always tricky. Especially with the team that loses the first one, they're gonna come back with a little extra, chip on their shoulder for the second game. But like you said in the opener, if the Mystics are who they think they are, they should be able to go ahead and close this thing out. Especially they're still playing for something. They're playing for for positioning. Of course, given that depends on what Seattle does, but they handle their part. So yeah, man, it's much better that they won this game than they lost it. I'll just leave it at that. But it's just good to see them get back on track a little bit. They've been kind of limping down the backstretch of this season. They're 3-3 in their last 6. A couple winnable ones slipped away from them. So yeah, of course we know the expectations Coach Tebow holds this team to. We knew the expectations they had coming into the season. So I just want to see them finish strong, man. Like you said, style points is out the window. We don't need anything fancy. Just go ahead and take care of business and go into the postseason with some type of momentum.
For sure. And the thing that I'm kind of grateful that it's the Fever and not another team, because the Fever play insanely hard regardless of what's going on. And this team needs that going into the postseason. Like, honestly, I appreciated the Fever for, they only know how to go one way and they go hard. I appreciate them for that. Because we've seen this team at times, like, if it feels like it's too out of hand, sometimes, they kind of, I don't want to say check out, but they kind of they get a little bit lax at times. Yeah. And I was happy that the Fever kept their foot on the gas enough where you had to respond right? You know, a couple times where they cut it to 6, put it back to 13. I was grateful for that. But again, I mean, this is not the. I'm not trying to trash the Fever or anything. Like, they just had the number 2 pick in the draft. They're clearly in the midst of a rebuild. We know what time it is there. However, some good performances from them. Emma Cannon tonight. Journeywoman, but hell of a performance to start this game. She was almost their entire offense for like the first quarter almost, right? And Emily Inksler, who I liked coming out the draft, her and Naylissa are going to be so fun together. I just can't wait to see how they finish, putting this thing out together, man. Like, honestly, I just can't wait. I like a lot of their pieces. However, like you said, for Washington, it was just getting back in some type of a groove or a rhythm. That's all you really want heading into the playoffs. No matter like you said, all the 3-3 in your last 6, all that stuff goes out the window. It's a new season. But first of all, it has to start with you winning your last 2 games to give yourselves a shot at getting home court advantage, which we know we were around that run in 2019, and I'm not comparing the teams. Just talk about that home court atmosphere. They have one of the better ones in the league. It could go a long way, right? But yeah, it was good. It was cool to see Elena get back on track. Weird seeing her miss a couple free throws. Elizabeth Williams. You want to talk about a luxury to have, no Maisha tonight. There's a couple times they were just dumping that thing down to her in the post, telling her to go to work. You mentioned Rui. I think Shatori had another just steady night off the bench again, which is always a good thing. But as always, man, this is the questions I have to ask you guys. So give me a second. Let me see if I can do this right this time. Make that the scroller. Player of the game, right?
Oh, Elena. Yeah, I think she kind of looks like she was looking at this game as a springboard to kind of get herself back right. She's been playing well below her standards the last few games, and I mean she knows what it is. She's been around this game long enough to recognize that, and she came in with a little extra energy, a little extra burst, and it carried through the game. This is the best game she's played in a while, and I'm sure she's gonna look to duplicate that on Sunday. But this is her time. She knows what's at stake, and she knows what's about to come up. Especially with the opponent they're going to have in the first round. They're familiar with those women over there, and she knows what it's going to require to come out on top in that matchup. So yeah, I was glad to see her come out and have a typical Elena game.
Yeah, it was just good seeing her get back in rhythm. The shots that we know are like her shots. It was just one of those get in my spot. There's nothing anybody can do. Felt like she was in total control, and even then probably left a couple points on the table. I'm sure there's a couple shots she felt should have went down. Appreciate what she did on the defensive end too, because you have to with like the Fever not having what they don't have Tara McCown anymore, so they're a little bit smaller, but at the same time they're not. Like, they just have a bunch of 4s, so you had to you're in space a little bit more against the Fever. With Naylissa and Inksler. I always mess up her name. I'm so sorry. It's going to happen more to your career. I'm going to try my best to get it. Inksler. Just having her in space, and she did a good job at times. Also, Destiny Henderson, the hell that she puts on the defense. I thought all of Washington's bigs did a great job of sliding their feet to not foul her, and then also taking care of their business because she's a blur. X Factor from tonight, who'd you have?
I'm gonna go with Elizabeth Williams.
Okay.
Like you just pointed out the size differential, and she just made it a point to make it clear that she was the biggest person on the floor when she was out there. She just went right to the front of the rim, sat down, and they fed her. And she took advantage of her opportunities. Then defensively, knows what she brings to the table. Protecting the rim. And then, like you said, even getting switched out the guards, and she's able to, to move her feet, still be effective. So yeah, she'll get my nod for X Factor tonight.
Well, since you already laid out the case that I accidentally laid out, I'm just gonna say what you said. It's Elizabeth Williams. But again, the Mystics wrap up the regular season with another matchup against the Fever, as we said at the top of tonight's show. At home at the ESA. I want to say it's a 3 p.m. game on Sunday. I would like to tell you guys that. And, just stay posted for Mystics Outlook, and then obviously for Mystics Outlook during the playoffs. So we will see y'all soon. Enjoy your weekend. And for Raymond and myself, y'all have a good night.